Okay, I hope y'all can hear me okay, and that the rain and the wind and stuff isn't too much. So, I didn't know for a long time that things that bothered me were from sensory issues. I just kind of thought I was sensitive and like a bit of a, like, I just thought I was difficult, and I didn't understand why I would get overwhelmed so easily at parties and stuff. In junior high and high school, I would always want to leave parties early. I would sometimes sneak away in the middle of parties and go just like climb a tree outside or something and sit by myself. And most of my friends would just kind of let me go off. I had one guy friend in junior high who would come find me and check on me to make sure I was okay. One of the main music things we both knew was Ed Sheeran, so he would come and sing Ed Sheeran with me until I felt like I could go back to the party. As an adult, I feel like I've grown even more sensitive to my sensory issues. I get overstimulated really easily, and it feels like it's more easily than when I was a kid. I don't know if my tolerance is lowered or if I'm just more aware of when I'm overstimulated, but I've noticed myself getting overstimulated a lot more now that I know I'm neurodivergent. Most of what gets me overstimulated is noise and also bright lights and the combination. But also, as someone with a history of ED, grocery stores are the worst because it's fluorescent lighting, a bunch of people talking, music playing, and then like decisions about food, which I hate making decisions about food. If I have to decide where to eat or what to eat, I get kind of worked up. Like I have a hard time with it. So grocery stores are absolutely not my friend. Neither are restaurants or bars or things like that. Dave and Buster's, I've been asked to go a couple times and I always end up having a really bad time. My fiance recently got noise canceling headphones and those are so nice. She let me borrow them the last time we went out and oh my god, it was so great. Like I honestly think I need a pair of my own. They're just like a little bit expensive. Like I think they were $160, almost $200, which is not really in my budget right now, but maybe someday. I honestly think the second someone is known to have autism, they should be provided like complimentary noise canceling headphones. I just think that'd be good. I think that, I think we deserve it. Something that does calm me down is, well, one is like getting rid of the stimulation that's overstimulating me. So if I can go somewhere quieter, if I can go somewhere with darker lighting, if I can go somewhere with less people, but also I have an anxiety PRN that does help, and I can't show you what I'm smoking, but it is CBD, which calms me down. At least I don't think I can show it. Like you can see the smoke, but I think that's okay. I don't think I can show the actual cigarette. It's not the devil's lettuce, it's literally just CBD though. Yeah, and it's not a cigarette either. Like it's in the form of a cigarette, but it's not like nicotine. Don't smoke real cigarettes, kids. On the topic of sensory issues, I did not know I was neurodivergent until my 20s, which was a whole ride. It was bittersweet finding out, mostly because, well, it was nice because I finally had an explanation for why I'm like this and why I was like that as a child, like why I behave the way I do now and why I behaved the way I did then. But what kind of sucked about finding out is that it just made me realize I could have gotten accommodations way sooner. Like in school, I did very poorly because I couldn't focus and I was bad at socializing and I just generally was not having a good time doing classwork or interacting with people. My sister doesn't have autism, she just has ADHD, but we had very similar struggles in school with the ADHD, but she was diagnosed when she was a toddler because she had the hyperactive subtype. I have the inattentive subtype. So I flew under the radar and nobody knew why I was doing so poorly. They just kind of thought I was lazy, which is so stereotypical, like, oh, you're just lazy, you're not trying hard enough. And I have like a actual disability. So yeah, bittersweet. I also had a couple friends who got diagnosed when they were younger because, again, they had the hyperactive subtype. And when I started suspecting I had ADHD, they were like, no, you're just autistic. Like, you don't have ADHD. And it was just because I didn't present the same way as they did. And when I got diagnosed, by the time I got diagnosed, I didn't talk to these people anymore. But even people with ADHD didn't believe me. And then autism in girls is so hard to notice and diagnose. And I'm one of those cases where it was diagnosed as BPD first, because autism and trauma in women is often just mistaken for BPD. So I was one of those cases, and it took until I was 21 for a therapist to go, you don't have BPD, and for me to get the correct information about what I do have. I still feel like I struggle a lot. It's nice to know I am neurodivergent because I can go and find support and find other people who are neurodivergent and do the same things I do, and realize that I'm not alone in the behaviors that I do that people don't understand. But it's also frustrating to know that I can't really do much about these behaviors that annoy people or confuse people or just overwhelm people. I behave like this because most people who have the disorders I have behave like that. So kind of like is it a double-edged sword? Is that what it's called? I know why it's happening, and I know I'm not the only person who does it, but I also know that it's a symptom, and a symptom I might not be able to fix or control or change, or, it's just like ingrained in my behavior. So yeah, it's nice to have answers, but it's also hard to know that I could have had them sooner if people had just paid attention, because I really shouldn't have flown under the radar. I am very much a textbook case of female autism, female ADHD, inattentive subtype, but I don't know. I shouldn't have flown under the radar, and I did, and that sucks, and knowing it kind of leaves me a little bit bitter, but what you gonna do? I hope this was at least a little bit relatable to other neurodivergent people, especially people who didn't get diagnosed until their adult life. If not, thanks for hanging out with me, and if you relate, me too, bud. Me too. Alright, I'm out.